Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we would like to study about teaching listening. This material is presented by Group 6 from Muhammad Reynaldi Marlis and Alif Firdhi Faqih. Okay, so at the first we have to know what does listening mean. Listening means that giving attention to someone or something in order to hear him, her, or it. This is stated from in Cambridge Dictionary. It also from Howard and Darkin, 1974, stated that listening is the ability to identify and understand what others are saying. This involves understanding a speaker's accent or pronunciation, his grammar, and his vocabulary, and grasping his meaning. Okay, the next is about the aspects of listening. There are 6 aspects that we will explain. The first is about colloquialism. Colloquialism means that the common expression mostly used in informal way. For example, the words, the sentence, "You're crazy, you're crazy." This is mostly used in informal speech. If you write down these words, it will be Y, apostrophe, and all, and after that crazy. Okay, the next is about reduced form. It is the words that used commonly by native speakers which are not written in English. So the example of this word is like I don't know how to ride, I don't know how to drive the car. So the word do know here is like we reduce the word form and we mix from the word know and the word do not, we mix it together, so it will be do know. And the next is about repetition. Repetition means the words are repeated or restarted more than once, commonly used in some literary works. For example, from Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, we can find the words "let it snow, let it snow, let it snow." There are 3 times that these words are repeated. The next is about inflection. It is the act of process of word formation which is added with items. For example, the words books, girls, or maybe streets. So we add additional like s or es behind the word. And the next is about intonation. Intonation is a various tone or stress of spoken word. For the example, how do you do? Or where are you going? So that's we give an intonation, some intonation to our words while we are speaking it. And the last is about word stress. It is the emphasis word in one syllable of a word. For example, the word green, red. In the word green, we can find that there is a stress in E, green. So that's all about the aspects of listening. The next, it will be continued by my friend Alif Firdhi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reynaldi. Next, we will learn about types of classroom listening performance. According to Brown in 1994, there are 6 types of classroom listening performance. First is reactive. Reactive performance requires the teacher to enable learners to listen to the surface structure of an utterance, and after that, the learners should repeat what they have heard. Here, as Nenan said, in the 1991 that the role of the learners here is as a tape recorder. So they heard, they heard, and then they record it into their brain, and after that, they should repeat what they have heard. And the second is intensive. Intensive emphasizes on components of spoken language or listeners' bottom-up skills. For example, like phonemes, intonation, words, sounds, discourse markers, and grammatical structure. And the third there is responsive. Responsive focuses on comprehending short stretches of spoken discourse. So here, the teacher asks learners to respond to what they hear from the teacher speaking immediately. For example, like asking questions, giving comments, seeking clarification, and checking comprehension. And the next is selective. It requires the teacher to enable learners to scan or distract longer stretches of spoken discourse in order to understand their general and global meaning. One of the way is teacher could ask students to listen for such as people's name, dates, certain facts or event, location, situation, context, and main ideas or conclusion. And then there is extensive. The focus of extensive performance is to evolve learners' listening at the top-down level. The learners are required to understand to the spoken language of, for example, lengthy lectures and conversation generally. And the last is interactive. This performance points out the relationship between listening and speaking. The learners are required to participate in discussion and debates and etc. Those are about the types of classroom listening performance. The next material will be presented by Reynaldi.
Okay, I would like to continue the explanation about teaching listening. So the next is about methods in teaching listening. There are 5 methods here. The first is structuring your lesson. You can use warming up activity or listening and discussing activity. So it will be more like a group discuss. And the second is choosing a listening activity. You can choose the listening activity from the material from real world, maybe it is from news that are viral today. And the next material from books. As we know that there are many books about listening that we can choose. And the next is using CD or DVD. This method will improve the accent of students while listening from DVD or CD, because most of CD and DVD has the native speaker that can improve the students' accents. The next is whetting students' appetites. You can use it like motivating students to listen to study listening more, and also you can use giving listening some listening tasks. So this task could be predicting their ability in listening, and also to make an overall of their skill in listening. So after that we can improve what they cannot do more about listening. The fourth is repeating the text. You can choose listening for the basic idea or listening for details. Listening for the basic listening for the basic idea is just like you give a script to your student while they are listening to the audio. And listening for details, you give an audio of like songs, maybe, or labeling, or dictation, true or false, gap fill, or and maybe putting information in order. So that's listening for details. And the last is planning follow-up activities. You can make some predictions, and also reading book about listening. In making prediction, you can ask your student to speculate about what happened after the clip finished. Like you give an audio about movie, and you stop it, and you can ask your student what will happen after this. And the reading book, you can read a book that has relation with listening text. Mostly the book that has popular listening text. Okay, the next will be continued by Alif Firdhi. Thank you.
Now, we will learn about techniques for teaching listening. According to Solak in 2016, there are two techniques for teaching listening. First is bottom-up and the second is top-down. The first is bottom-up. The listeners use linguistic knowledge clues such as phonemes, syllables, words, phrases, and sentences to understand. It means that they use a bottom-up strategy. The example of bottom-up activities such as showing some relevant pictures or giving some keywords before the listening activity. Teachers can stimulate top-down process. The second is giving a series of pictures or a sequence of events, or predicting the relationship between the people in the listening text. The second is top-down. Here, the listeners use context and prior knowledge such as topic, genre, culture, and other schema knowledge stored in long-term memory to decide the meaning. The example of top-down activities is the teacher reads a few sentences and asks students to write down how many words there should be in the written form. The task may sound simple, but weak forms can be problematic for some learners. Therefore, the teacher should speak in a natural way. Some example sentences are, "She doesn't like it," "I'd better leave soon," and "Let's go to the cinema," and etc. Now, at this slide, we provide you 5 tips for improving listening skills. First is be relaxed. Many English learners get very stressed and anxious when they cannot understand something. But don't worry about it. Just relax. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, you don't. In fact, by relaxing and focusing 100% on what you are hearing, you have the best chance to understand. The second is don't try to translate. Listening and translating the spoken language at the same time will make your listening more difficult. It needs so much concentration. So, just listen to the spoken language. Don't do anything, don't translate it, and don't worry about words that you don't know. The third is use context to help you understand. Yep, it is true. As an example, if you are face to face with someone, you can use their body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions to help you understand what they mean. The fourth is practice with different situations and voices. For example, like if you only listen to one kind of English, you will be good at understanding one kind of English. So, listen to the different kind of English such as English people from north, south, east, and west of your country. Listen to American, Australians, Canadian, children's, men, women, songs, TV shows, film, audiobooks, and anything else. And the fifth or the last is make a study plan. Actually, you also need a practical plan to work on your English listening. So, you can make a plan by following 2 easy rules. Rules number 1, do something every day. Rules number 2, do something different every day. So, you don't need much time to do it. Just practice about 15 until 20 minutes every day continuously. Now, we come to the end of the video presentation. Here is a quote by John Dewey. Education is not preparation for life, but education is life itself. These are our references for creating this video. For further reading, you can freely check them. Alright, we do apologize for any mistakes. Thank you for watching. Don't stop learning. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.